students. Yesterday we have discussed the theoretical approach on interference and also Huygens theory, and there with the help of Huygens theory number of questions that is asked. Basically from this chapter wave optics, the theoretical approach is more important than the numerical approach here, as in case of theoretical approach using Huygens theory we can prove easily the law of refraction, law of reflection. So that question is asked 2-3 times in examination, and also after that how to get the interference pattern using Young's double slit experiment and his assumptions of crust poly or simple he used wave theory to make it understand that whenever crust will fall on the crust or throw will fall on the throw, then that time we will get maximum intensity. So using that we have seen how to get the interference pattern, how to understand the formation of actually interference pattern or redistribution of energy. And after that the important concept is that how to get the condition for constructive interference and destructive interference, and if we have to find out the position of maxima and minima, then how can we find it? So all these things we have discussed, and also sometimes it is asked to prove the that fringe width is beta is equal to lambda d by d. So for that we have to understand whole of the theoretical approach, whole of the derivation. So basically all that derivations are important, and here mostly questions are asked from the conceptual problem, or from the theoretical approach, or from the definition based problem, or from the you can say that simple, some of the questions are asked from the numerical approach also. So let's discuss today all the conceptual problems that is asked from all the topics of wave optics. So basically I'm just going to take here first of all the conceptual problems all at one place. I have just summarized all the questions that is asked, so we will discuss it. I think that will help you to understand the concepts and the questions in the better way. After that we will discuss the numerical problem. So first question, it is given that compare Maxwell's electromagnetic theory with Huygens theory of light. So we have to compare Maxwell theory of electromagnetic wave with the Huygens theory of light. So as in both of the concept, light waves we are taking as the wave nature. So here the nature of the electromagnetic wave or light, that are also the wave nature, but still if you will talk about the types of waves that they have assumed, then in case of electromagnetic wave, Maxwell just proved and he assumed that electromagnetic wave is of electromagnetic nature obviously, and also they are transverse in nature. So and second thing is that in the case of Huygens theory, he assumed that the light is as the sound wave. It means that light is as the mechanical wave, and also the wave is wave has the nature that is longitudinal nature. So basic difference and analogy both you can compare here. So analogy is only that here we are talking about the wave concept of the electromagnetic wave or light. So this is analogy, and the difference I have told you. Next question, here it is asked, a narrow pulse of light is sent through a medium, will you expect the pulse to retain its shape as it travels through the medium? So here one question we have, as we are just assuming here light as the wave, then obviously light here we are talking about the harmonic wave, and in harmonic wave we know that half of the signals or half of the wave is positive, half of the negative, means we can say that there are pulsive nature they have. So here question is that if light waves that are traveling from one medium to another medium, then their shape will be retained or not. So obviously they cannot retain their shape, as you know that every medium has different properties, and their properties are categorized by the wavelength of light or refractive index of the medium. So simple, as the refractive index of the mediums are different, then obviously the wavelength of the traveling light, that will also be different. And if wavelength is different, then definitely the pulse shape will change there. So it means that light waves cannot retain their shape whenever they are changing the medium. Next question, it is what is the effect on the interference fringes in a Young double slit experiment due to each of the following operations? So here number of conditions are given for the Young's double slit experiment, as we have discussed already in yesterday class. So I think now that concept is clear, then let's discuss its conceptual problem first of all. So here first question is that the screen is moved away from the plane of the slit. Means here the conditions are given and we have to give the answer that what will be the effect on the interference fringes due to these changing in the experiment. So if we are just moving away the screen from the plane of the slit, means aim to understand view. So this is slit we have, and these are two coherent sources that is made up by this. So this is two coherent sources we have, and again if we have just placed just a screen here, then these waves are just meeting here at this point or at this point, where whenever you can see the different interference pattern according to this. So simple, this is the distance between plane of slit and screen. This is the distance between two slits. So these are the basic things that we have. I suppose that we are taking this light as the monochromatic light source. Then our first question is that if we are just moving a screen away from the plane of slit, means we are increasing D here. So what will be the effect on fringe width? So you know that the fringe or interference pattern. So this fringe width means the width of maxima or minima, that can be denoted by beta is equal to lambda D by D, where D is distance between these two and this small d is this. So it means that if first condition, that is D is increasing, if D is increasing, then here beta is directly proportional to B, then it means that beta will also increase. So if beta will also increase, it means that the fringe width is going to increase here, and simple as fringe width are going to increase, and if you will just take it as a large distance, then that time the fringe width will be or their width will become so large, means one fringe will cover all the space of the telescope or whatever through which you are seeing, then it will cover all the space on the screen. So it means that you will see only one pattern on the screen, then there will be no any further interference fringes or patterns can be seen if you will just put this screen far away from the this plane of the slits. So simple, these are certain conditions for the interference. Here we are talking about that also using conceptual question that is asked. So number of conceptual questions are asked, so you can understand that Young's double slit experiment is how much it is important for your examinations also. So I think these things is clear. And here one more thing we have, this is fringe width, but we have some angular separation also. So angular separation for fringe width, that is given by theta is equal to lambda by d. So this is angular separation, means the fringe width that is separated at some angle from here. So if we are just viewing it, then definitely they will just meet some of the angles on that. So that angle is known as angular separation between the fringes. So if this theta is given by lambda by d here. So as here we are just increasing capital D, not small d. Slits are as usual at constant distance, lambda is constant, then definitely this angular separation will not change. Means simple, the effect on interference fringes, simple, their fringe width will increase, but their angular separation will not increase here. So I think that is now clear. Second question we have, that is the monochromatic source is replaced by another source of shorter wavelength. So if we will just replace this monochromatic source by another monochromatic source that has shorter wavelength than this, then it means that second condition we have, if lambda is decreasing. Then if lambda is decreasing, then in this case obviously beta is directly proportional to lambda, then beta will decrease also. So if beta will decrease, it means that fringe width will decrease, and for a particular small wavelength of monochromatic source, this separation will be so small that it will not be able to seen by any instrument, means we will not further we can't see further any types of interference patterns here. Next question is that the separation between two slits is increased, means here on every aspect questions are asked. Third is, if we are just increasing this separation between two slits, means small d we are changing, then in this case obviously if you will change the small d, then beta is inversely proportional to this separation between two slits. So it means that if we will change this small d or separation between the slits, beta will change also, and here it is then we are increasing the separation. Say d is increasing, then beta will decrease here obviously, and for a particular, or you can see that simple, if we will put at a large distance these two slits, then that time this beta will decrease to a smaller value, so that we will not see any further interference pattern, means interference patterns will be invisible or after some time. So reason is that whenever we are just taking away two slits, then after that some time their waves will not overlap on each other, then obviously there will not be any interference pattern. Fourth question is here that the source slit is moved closer to the double slit plane as to seen interference pattern distinctly. So this question is little different. Here question is that if we are just moving this source slit closer to the plane of the slit. So this is the plane of the two slits, and this is source slit through which we have just made these two coherent sources. Then if you will just move this towards this, then what will be the effect on the interference pattern here? So then there is a condition to see the interference pattern distinctly, that is, or S upon S, that should be less than lambda by d, where small s, this is width of the source slit, width of source slit, and S is distance of source slit from plane of slit, plane of slits, means this is capital S, this distance is capital S, and if this slit is of some of the thickness or there is some separation, then that is known as small s. So in this case our question is, if we are just decreasing this s, means we are just going to put this source closer to these two slits, then in that case obviously s is decreasing. Then with decrease, we are just decreasing this, then obviously due to decrease in the slit, pattern will come closer to each other, and pattern will obviously, they will become less and less sharper. Reason is that simple, if we are just decreasing these two sources, then these two light wave will not reach on these two sources properly. then in that case obviously the sharpness of the fringes that will reduce here, and for a particular distance of this source slit from this plane of the slit, the fringes will disappear. So it is always necessary to keep this source slit from this plane of slit at a particular distance so that we can see a distinct image. Means it means that simple. Here I think resolving power you haven't just read in the class, but still to see two objects distinctly we need a separation between the source and screen, and also source and this slits, so that we can just see two fringes separately. But still if we will just put it close, then that time fringes will overlap on each other and we will not see further them distinctly. They will be formed, but still we will not be able to distinguish them, and that time it will be simple interference pattern will not be visible there. We will see only white light and whatever the light that we are using. Next case is that if the width of the source slit is increased, means if we are increasing this small s width of the source slit, then with increasing the width of the source slit, then definitely means we are talking about the broad source or broad slit. So a broad source, you can assume that that is made up of number of slits, number of small slits, you can divide it into in that form. Then obviously you know that each pair of the slit can form its own interference pattern. Means every pair of slits that will form in their own interference pattern, and finally all the interference pattern will overlap on each other. Then obviously due to their overlapping, if dark fringe will overlap on bright fringe, then definitely they will disappear and we will get uniform illumination. Means no interference pattern we will see in that case. So we don't need broad sources for the production of interference fringe. We always need narrow source here. This is the condition and we have know that also. So questions can be asked also here. Next question is that here, this is also question in this form. We have 7 questions based on Young's double slit experiment here. And not only 7 questions, some of the other questions are also here. I will discuss it. Next is that the monochromatic source is replaced by source of white light. So if we will just replace the monochromatic source by source of white light, means here in place of this lambda we are using white light, then you know that white light is made up of a number of wavelengths. Then if we will talk about this central point, then obviously light will fall from here and it will form wavefront. Then 2 coherent sources we can make here, and after that if all the waves, all colors will meet here, obviously because they will meet here at the same time in the same phase. Reason is that there is no phase difference between these 2 waves. Then whenever they will meet, then due to no phase difference or no path difference, they will all overlap at the same point. And you know that if all the components of light will overlap, then white color that will be formed here. Then the central bright fringe, that will be white colored fringe here. Next, after that, as we know that lambda is different for different color of light, and it is minimum for violet color light, and it is maximum for the red color. Then obviously if lambda is minimum here for the violet color light, then that time after this white fringe we will get violet color, and after that other frequencies, greater frequencies, and at the end we will get red color. So simple on both sides of this central white fringe we will get a pattern of the colors that will be distributed in their component from violet to red, like that. So that interference pattern will be in some types of waves. So I think students, these questions that we have discussed from the Young's double slit experiment, that is now clear. So let's discuss other questions also. So next question is there, why is no interference pattern observed when two coherent sources are first infinitely close to each other and second far apart from each other? Means to observe the coherent interference pattern, we need to put the coherent sources at a particular distance. We cannot put them far apart from each other and also too close to each other, as that problem we have discussed already, but still you can discuss it again by this beta is equal to lambda d by d. So as this d is inversely proportional to beta, then first when d will increase, then with increase in d obviously beta will decrease. Means if we are just going to put the sources far apart from each other, then that time the width of the fringes that will be very small, and if the width of the fringes are very small, then we will not be able to see that types of interference fringes from any instrument. So simple interference pattern will not be seen whenever we will put far apart from the two slits. Secondly thing, if we will put very close to each other to that two slits, then in that case d will decrease, and if d will decrease, then beta will increase. So continuously beta is increasing, then it means that the fringe width is increasing, and with increasing fringe width obviously continuous increase, and for a closer distance one fringe will just cover all the space of the screen, then we will not be able to see or detect any other interference pattern due to large width of the fringes. Fringes will be formed there, but still we will not be able to see, as these fringes are not in the view of our instrument on that are not formed on the screen. So that's why that case interference patterns that will be disappear, you can say, or also we will not be able to see that fringes. So the next question is that to answer the following questions, two questions are asked here. When monochromatic light is incident on a surface separating two media, the reflected and refracted light both have the same frequency as the incident ray. Explain why. This question is asked two times in 11 and 13, I mean 2011 and 2013. So here first question is that simple. If any monochromatic light is incident and it is refracted or reflected, then that time frequency of the wave will not change. What is the reason? So as you know that the frequency of radiation, that is depending on the source through which this is emitted, but it is not depending on the medium through which it is propagating. So that's why, as it is characteristics of the source, not on of the medium, so if we are not changing the sources, then that time frequency will not change. Whatever the function or whatever the phenomena we are getting by the same source. So simple, whenever we will change the source, then that time frequency will change, but whenever we are changing the medium, frequency will not change. Second question is here, when light travels from a rarer to denser medium, it loses some speed. Does the reduction in speed imply a reduction in the energy carried by the light waves? So here, as you know that whenever light will just travel from a rarer to denser medium, then that time it has to do some work against the molecules or dense medium. That's why its speed just decrease there. Then that is it is asked in the question that if speed is decreasing, then its energy will decrease also or not. Then here, as you know that the simple, there are two answers of this question. You can answer it by two ways. First is that if you will just want to explain it by photon picture of light, then according to that the electromagnetic wave has energy equal to E is equal to h nu. So equal to E is equal to h nu. So as according to this formula, the energy carried by the light waves that are depending on the frequency of radiation, and you know that frequency of the radiation will not change with change in medium. So it means that with change in medium, whatever is its speed, but energy carried by the light wave, that will not change, whether its speed is decreasing or increasing. Second thing, through which if you will just take the wave concept, then according to wave picture, the energy is represented in terms of intensity or in terms of amplitude. So as velocity is not connected with the amplitude, so that's why as with change in velocity, amplitude of the wave is not changing, then obviously its intensity will not change, or the energy carried by the wave, that will not change. So you can just answer the question by both of the concepts is